Hi everyone, welcome to the State Hornet News. I'm Vince Ibarra.
And I'm Gary Singh. Here's the latest from the State Hornet Newsroom.
CSU Chancellor Timothy White announced in a statement issued September 10th that spring 2021 instruction will continue to be mostly online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. White said they will reduce the number of students in the resident halls across the 23 campus systems, and that making the decision early would allow time for classes to be properly accredited and give faculty and students time to prepare for another online semester.
President Nelson is asking employees of the university to apply to the Sacramento State Early Exit Program. The program offers eligible employees between $25,000 and $70,000 to resign and may allow the university to avoid layoffs due to the budget shortfalls caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Week 4 of our semester has begun. As such, we at the State Hornet broadcast would like to introduce you to some of our Associated Students Incorporated board members that are representing us this semester. Ian Ratliff and Cameron Dady spoke with them for this report.
I'm from Marin County, California, out in West Marin near the Point Reyes area.
Well, I grew up in Burbank, California, which is in San Fernando Valley. It's right above Los Angeles.
I am from Southern California, Fontana, California, to be specific, part of San Bernardino County.
I'm originally from Ecuador, South America. So I moved over here to Sacramento around 4 years ago.
I'm India, and I'm an international student here.
In my 4th year now, so graduating this year. Political science, though I am in the process of adding an international relations major.
4th year, Sac State business student. I'm majoring in business administration with a concentration in accountancy. And I'm hoping to graduate this year, so.
Political science.
This is going to be my last year as a senior. Next year, spring 2021, I'll be graduating. So exciting.
Business major.
Here we go. In government, I'm still kind of deciding what field that I really want to look into, but I mean, the first area I really want to look at is something with the state legislature. I just really enjoy policy.
I really honestly kind of had a passion for business overall throughout a lot of my high school years and things like that. So I'm definitely looking at going into consulting in some form. My hopes and dreams would be to open my own consulting business for small businesses to help them grow and be successful.
Right now, it's just politics. More specifically, I kind of want to go back to, well, I'm here currently in Fontana, but I want to go back to my community and, uplift my community. I moved 7 hours away and I learned a lot, and I just would love to come back and, like I said, uplift my community if it comes to local politics.
I want to transition into a data engineer position.
So I'll be going into analysis or consulting.
Thank you, Ian and Cameron, for that report. Shadi Khattab, owner and CEO of Onick Coffee and a Sac State alumnus, is giving back to the community that he said made his dreams come true. Khattab conceived the idea for his business while taking a business class at Sac State. Khattab said he donated $1,000 to Sacramento Food Bank since he opened up his business in March, and is dedicating himself to hiring Sacramento State students as well as naming a drink after the Hornets. As an immigrant from Syria, Khattab said he is also committed to hiring people of color to work for his company. Arts and entertainment reporter Chanel Murong spoke to Khattab for an upcoming State Hornet Spotlight podcast.
So why did you start with coffee as the lane you wanted to be in, and how did this business come to be?
I started with coffee. As a Middle Eastern, we're very big on coffee and tea. It's a real big part of our culture. So typically speaking, especially like in a Syrian household, I'm Syrian actually, I'm an immigrant from Syria. We'll sit down together with the family and kind of bond over coffee and tea. So that's something that I remember as a child vividly back in Syria. And even when I came to the US, I always enjoyed, coffee and tea, and I wanted to build my own coffee company and build my own kind of culture and vibe to bring people together and unite people and unite Sacramento as a whole, and bring all kinds of ethnic groups and, minorities and people of color together just to have a great time and enjoy the culture at Onick Coffee.
Since March, a majority of classes have been online, but this fall, some students are returning to campus for in-person classes as well. I went to campus and spoke to some students and staff that come to campus for classes and work. On March 12th, Sacramento State moved to online classes due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Since then, administrators have worked to set in motion new health and safety protocols for the campus.
The main thrust of what we're trying to do is really limit the amount of people coming to campus and interacting in order to create space. And the other thing is we have a mandatory face covering requirement on campus, and we would like to see everybody following through on that.
For students and faculty, safety is a top priority.
We've also installed disinfecting hand stations all over campus in the buildings that are open. So since only a limited number of buildings are open for face-to-face classes, those are the buildings that get the focus of disinfecting by facilities and also get the disinfecting stations for your hands.
Rosenblum said 7% of students are on campus for in-person classes. Sven Joseph, a student and employee on campus, said he feels safe with the new campus protocols.
There are about 8 million more signs. I see really nobody on campus, and the only people that I really do see on campus are the safety ambassadors or faculty and staff. Even then, faculty and staff are usually holed up in the buildings. I work on campus. I work with IRT, so everyone's pretty much just bunkered down, lots of signage, everyone's wearing masks. Yeah, it's just really empty on a regular day.
Dr. Steve Azelik wants students to also understand the importance of mental health during these trying times.
I would just really encourage that if students need something, if they have a question, if they just want to talk with someone, it could be about something physically that's going on, a question that they have that's health related, or maybe how they're feeling. Maybe they're, I don't know, feeling a little anxious or something's going on in their lives, because these really are just unprecedented times for all of us with this pandemic, that I just really would encourage them to call us, to call to student health, and to talk with us.
I'm Vince Ibarra for StateHornet.com.
Our editor-in-chief, Max Connor, visited the garden at Capitol Public Radio, located by Napa Hall, for his podcast, Max's Table. He met with Nicole McDavid, who runs the garden, to learn about the program and get tips on home gardening.
Sounds good. So herbs are a good place to start, for sure. Something to spice up your food with some fresh herbs, and then something simple. Maybe a tomato plant. If it was springtime, maybe you could do a tomato plant.
Yeah, don't worry about tomatoes now, but in May or June, buy that tomato plant. Yeah.
Can I plant Swiss chard or kale or something like that now, going into the fall?
Yes, definitely. Those are fall happy plants, and actually kales, collards, a little bit of Swiss chard, but mostly like kales. They like kind of our cool night temperatures, and they actually end up being sweeter in the fall.
You can find today's stories linked in the description down below or at our website, StateHornet.com. That does it for this edition of the State Hornet News. I'm Vince Ibarra.
And I'm Gary Singh. You can also send us news tips, story ideas to our Twitter handle at The State Hornet. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Stay safe and have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.